Welcome to Discover a New Future, a show geared at empowering women to be the best versions of themselves. I'm your host, Faith Saunders. Life has changed, especially with technology and everything. Things are so chaotic. And at times, many of us, myself included, feel so overwhelmed and disconnected to who we really are. We're trying to figure out, really, who am I? So today our guest, Audrey Davis Dunning, will be helping us to activate our goddess. She's going to share with us some ways in which, when in our normal daily lives, we could actually connect with the core of who we are as individuals so we can get centered. So Audrey, welcome to Discover a New Future.
Thank you so much for having me, Faith. It is an absolute pleasure and honor, truly.
So I am so thrilled to have you on board. I have had the opportunity of seeing you in action. And we're going to demonstrate some of what I saw that got me in awe when I saw you. But before we even get into that, I'd like to find out a little bit about how did you even start connecting your love for African dance and your expertise in that area to a women empowerment.
Well, it's very interesting. The whole African dance piece for me started in 1998 at a time when I needed to get my goddess. I had just ended a relationship and all of a sudden I had a lot more free time. So a friend of mine suggested I take African dance. And I'd always been a dancer. I've been dancing since I was 13. But when I took that African dance class, something clicked.
Wow.
And the way I put it, I said I was bitten by the African dance bug. and I've been doing it religiously ever since.
Wow.
And, continued with my studies and was asked to start doing classes and performing and things like that. And the feedback that I got from my students is what really triggered this. They said that when they take my African dance class, I make them feel beautiful and powerful.
Wow.
Now, mind you, in my African dance class, I have women of all ages, from 18 to 60 plus.
Wow.
All shapes, all sizes, all races. And African dance, and this is what I love about African dance, it has space for everyone.
Wow.
Regardless of your size, regardless of your age, there's ways to execute and feel powerful and beautiful. And because I got that feedback very consistently, I said, you know what, there's something here. And I've always been a student of personal development and empowerment ever since grad school. I was at Cornell and I just started diving into that along with my other studies. And anything to maximize your potential and be the best you can, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So merging those two loves is how Get Your Goddess was born.
Wow, wow. And I have to share my story about Get Your Goddess.
Yes, please do, please do.
I mentioned earlier that I heard Audrey speak at an event, and she mentioned in terms of don't talk to your goddess like that. Don't talk to my goddess like that. So one day I was in one of my spaces. I told you we all get into those spaces.
Yes, we do.
I was in one of my spaces and I was home, and my son, in fact, was at the event with me. And I was talking about, I was saying I put on so much weight, and I was just going on and on and on. And in the living room, I heard someone say, "Don't talk to my goddess that way." Yes! And I had to just start laughing because, he was there. I didn't even know he was even listening to what was happening. And then he was able to kind of center me to say, well, accept who you are. You're beautiful the way you are, and stop complaining and putting yourself down. So I thought that was so wonderful. I had to text you and say, guess what happened a while ago?
And when you text me that, it moved me to my core because, again, and here's this young man who's listening to the message, and he got it and was able to interrupt that pattern of his mother and say, "Ma, don't you talk to my goddess like that." And this is don't you talk to my goddess like that. Don't you talk to my goddess like that. Because we have to interrupt the pattern. And that's what Get Your Goddess and the goddess community is all about. Interactive, online, supportive community. Somebody who could say, hey, stop you, because we do it so automatically. So goddess is a daily practice. You have to fortify yourself daily and do little taste, little kisses of goddess throughout the day to remind yourself. These simple things as these cups. Get your goddess, get your goddess, get your
We
goddess.
drink coffee all the
Yes,
time. We're
just-
always drinking or
So-
having a glass of wine. I don't drink, but
I do sparkling apple cider. Get your goddess. It's just a little reminder. It doesn't take much, and just the word goddess, it just helps shift you. Just thinking of yourself as a goddess. You have to sit up a little straighter and put a little smile on your face.
Exactly.
You know. So I just thought it was a great concept.
So that all of us are on the same page. Get your goddess. When you say goddess, what are you talking about?
Well, when you think of the term goddess, right? If someone says someone is a goddess, you think of a woman who is confident, who is powerful, who feels beautiful, and is moving powerfully in the world. So when I say get your goddess, I'm saying, hey, tap into that inner goddess that we all have. Because it's my belief that all women are goddesses. We all are goddesses. And there are times when we're in touch with that goddess, and you know what it feels like. Like when you walk into the room and you feel like, yeah. So we know what it feels like, but sometimes our goddess, she goes away.
Exactly.
And it's situational sometimes. It could be you're in a room feeling fine, and then that person walks in. That person can be a family member. It could be someone that you feel lesser than for whatever reason. It could be a family member. It could be, and then all of a sudden your goddess,
She went running.
yes, she went running. She went running away. So I like to show women simple ways with movement. Doesn't have to be big, but simple ways to get that goddess back as quickly as she left.
Well, all of us, as you mentioned, our goddess run off and take on a different character. So what I really loved with what you did when I went to that event was you did the character, help me.
Caricatures of enlightenment. Yes.
So if you could you share at least one or two with us?
Sure. So the caricatures of enlightenment, they're a crowd favorite. People really love it. Because what is a caricature? An exaggeration. And the caricatures of enlightenment were developed to show women in a very exaggerated and hopefully funny way some of the patterns and negative thoughts that we say to ourselves that limit and dishonor us. So when we do a caricature of enlightenment, they can see themselves and laugh at it and be like, you know what? There might be another way to look at this situation. So one caricature of enlightenment that I do is the damsel in distress. Where's my hero? Where's my man? They've been telling me that my prince would come ever since I was like yay high, and he's not here yet. And I know life would be so much better if I just had a boyfriend and hopefully a husband. Like, could you imagine how life would be if I had a husband? Oh my God. Yeah, she has a husband, and I heard she just got engaged. I didn't get engaged, and I don't. Wow, look at, I wonder how many people in here are engaged. Look, she has a ring. I don't have a ring. Man, I really got to get. I wonder if that guy could be my husband. Sorry. You think he wants kids? Do you think he might not want kids. I just got to keep looking. He said, I can't. Let me go into my Facebook. I need to just start thinking about something else. Someone else just got engaged. Look at the pictures and they're smiling. And what about me? There's no escape.
I love that.
So the damsel in distress, it's women where, there's a real strong societal message. Have to have a boyfriend, have to have a husband. And, sometimes you think that within your timeline, if it doesn't happen, women always have their own internal timeline, that something might be wrong with you, and then you see things happening for other people, and then you start to doubt yourself and then become fixated on that, and sometimes even miss the beauty of the life you have right now because is he here? Is he there?
Exactly.
She has a ring. I don't have a ring.
Yeah, you're just looking for every person you come across. Does he have a ring?
Yes, that's true. So it's something that takes you out of your power and out of the joy that you're living right now. And as we all know, he will come. When the time is right, he will come.
Exactly. But you have to be ready for when he comes.
Yes.
So often they're preparing to looking for him and not taking care of ourselves so that when he comes, we're ready for each other.
Absolutely.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
Do you have another one you'd like to share?
Yes. This one I'm going to have to turn around for.
Okay.
So this caricature is the monster in the mirror. The monster in the mirror, Faith. You know the monster. Well, exactly how much weight do you plan to put on this year? Oh my God, like I need to get it. Is that another wrinkle? Oh my God, let me see. Oh my God. Really, if I could just stick to a diet, then maybe I could get myself together. But I can't stick to anything. I can't stick to anything. Oh my God. I wonder how much Botox cost. The monster in the mirror is us.
Yeah.
If people could hear the comments that we're saying internally while we look in the mirror.
So true.
Oh my goodness.
That is
Oh
so
my.
true.
And you know what's so astonishing, Faith? I don't care if you go into any ladies' restroom, whether the women are dressed to the nines or in a t-shirt and jeans. Watch how they're looking at themselves in the mirror. It's always like a little bit of dissatisfaction and kind of like you could almost see the thoughts.
That is so true.
It's so dressed to the nines or in a t-shirt, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference because we're so accustomed to seeing what's wrong with us.
That's exactly.
Get Your Goddess is about celebrating what is right with you. And there's so much right with you. So much right
There
with you.
is so much more right with you than there's nothing wrong with you in the fact, there's only always room for improvement.
Sure.
And there's, even our I told you how my son, Dan said, get your goddess, but when I was talking about my weight, that's what I was going, so I could actually totally relate to what you were talking about, because that was my dilemma at that time.
Weight's a big thing.
We're in a society where, the thing is that you have to be slim, you have to fit a mold, and if you don't fit that mold, you're not okay. And I think what you're trying to help people to see, you're okay no matter what. We all come in different shapes, size, heights, you name it, but we are okay.
That's right. And I would even take it a step further and say we are fabulous. And yes, and fabulous as you define fabulous.
Exactly.
That's the key for me.
Yeah.
Fabulous as you define it. Because it's my belief that you could be fabulous in a sweatpants and a sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Because it's the woman inside it radiates out. So fabulous as you define it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you did mention also that there is sometimes when we're home or even out, how do we get to that even key when we're going into that negativity in terms of, the goddess kind of ran away from us at that point. Somebody else kind of took over. How do we are there some stuff that we can actually do? And you mentioned some already. For example, just even having a cup on our desk, or at home with some little sayings like, "Don't you talk to my goddess like that." That just a little thing like that can just kind of recenter you and bring you back to that other piece. What does your cup say?
Get your goddess.
Get your goddess.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
And what?
Yes.
Oh, and our wine here. What is it?
Yes. So that.
This one's Get Your Goddess too.
Yes. This is what I call like a touch of goddess, a kiss of goddess. Just a little reminder. You're having a rough day. You come home, get your little goddess. Apple
not
cider.
A lot of goddess.
Yeah.
No.
I don't even drink. Sparkling apple cider is my little fake wine. And then just picking up the cup and it's like, okay, wait a minute. Get your goddess. Boom. Just a little shift. It doesn't take much.
Exactly.
So there's things like that. And then I believe in movement. And it doesn't have to be a big movement. I use movement a lot to activate my goddess.
If I'm sitting, is there something I could actually do to activate
Yes.
my goddess?
Because I break down steps that help me to activate my goddess. Sometimes when space allows and time permits, I'll do it in its biggest and fullest expression. But if not, there's just be little movements that I do.
Oh!
Remember who you are, yes. A little shoulder shake for some. And it'll be different from other people. And these are different motions from my African dance. And, my movements are African inspired. Some might come from African dance, some might come from hip hop, whatever it takes.
We can create our own goddess move.
Exactly.
That is
exactly.
Awesome. So that each of us can create based on, if you're a rapper, like rap, then
do that.
whatever
Yes.
works for you.
Whatever works.
So that when you're getting into that space, You know, and I think that's so important for us to talk about that when we're getting into that space. So sometimes we get to that full blown, you know, goddess has gone out
Yep.
through the door. We can't even get her back right now.
Yes.
We're screaming at her.
Yes.
Right? But we being more having more insight in terms of when we are getting that way. What are some of the signs that we're getting that way? And when we are at that space, to be able to do something to say, get back here, you know?
Yeah.
Get back. You're not going too far here.
Right.
Get back here, lady.
So, like you said, knowing the signs, and you can feel it. You feel your energy diminish. You don't feel as sure as yourself. A little anxiety. You can feel when she's disappearing or when she's totally gone. And for me, that's the time of self-reflection. Sit down, acknowledge what's happening. All right, I'm feeling this way because I think that I'm not beautiful right now. Okay. How true is that?
Exactly.
All right, let me sit down, let me meditate. I'm big on meditation. Quiet your mind and quiet all the noise, because it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise. Quiet your mind, quiet the noise, and get back to who you are. And think of all the beautiful things about you. Start with your fingernail if you have to. But there's so many beautiful things about you. Think of all the compliments you've received. And we've received many. But over the years, we kind of diminish our compliments. And just remember that one critique, that one body part that you have been criticizing for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Oh, my this. Oh, 20 years have passed. You're still talking about that one body part.
Exactly.
It's a lot of time and energy that could be used to celebrate your life.
Exactly.
You know?
And I think that ties into gratitude. When we actually are is grateful. You talk about your nails. Just the fact that you can bend your finger, you can fold your hands. You ever have a paper cut and you have a band-aid on the finger and you can't bend your finger or whatever? That's when you realize that these are some of the things that I'm supposed to be so grateful for. You know, things that I take for granted.
True.
So it's just so important so that to really go into that, you know, what's so right about me, but also what am I grateful for? Because there's so many things to be grateful for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And going back to the goddess community, I'm just so grateful to have women who support me in that and that I can support in that, because we all need the reminders.
Exactly.
We all need the reminders. There's so many messages, you know, the conflict, working mom, want to be a great mom, want to do work well and still be beautiful and still give to the community and still be involved in your family affairs. It's a lot. It's a lot. And we want to excel in everything. So we forget how amazing we're doing. We're doing an amazing job. If you look at what the average woman does on any given day, she needs a standing ovation.
Definitely.
She needs a standing ovation.
I totally agree with that.
And if you don't,
we don't own it.
Yes, and if you don't get one, give you one yourself. Give one to yourself. Just grab your goddess cup. Boop, I did that today. Yes, I did. Sip.
So if you showed us some sitting positions or in terms of, but show us something that you do in terms of like activating your goddess.
Okay, some of my favorite moves. I do like a small version of it. Yes. So, and these moves that I do, I'm literally saying these things to myself. I'm gonna put my little inner music on, because sometimes you don't have your own music. All right. So I'll just do. Please remember who you are. Remember who you are. There's something about throwing my head back. When that head comes up, I'm a different woman. I don't know why. And then the fanning. So I love that. So that's one move I love. And then again, I'm a fan of the snapping of the head. So here's another one I do where pose, bring her up. There she is. Something about posing.
That's awesome.
And sometimes I can't do all of that. So maybe we're sitting down, things are happening. Sometimes I only can get one in, but my body knows. Like, okay, all right, goddess, let's go.
Sex centered.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
And again, you can make up your own, but do something. You need a tool. You need something that can quickly be like,
get back there.
Yes.
I love that. So, you know, I was really honored the other day when we were talking, and you, in fact, when we were preparing for this show, and you mentioned, oh, I've been looking at reading your book and doing some of the activities.
Yes.
And again, that's really humbling for me. I appreciate that. And you said that you wanted to share some of what are some of the similarities in terms of what you see and what you're working with women, and what are some of the concepts that are in the book. So you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes. There are many concepts in this book that I love, but there are three to me that kind of symbolize the goddess journey.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one that I like to talk about is people are prone to believe the wondrously false as opposed to the wondrously true. And I think that's where most women are when they begin their goddess journey, believing the wondrously false. And it's at this point when they get introduced to goddess that they realize, oh, I do have a choice. I don't have to necessarily believe this. And then you take it a step further in the book by doing an exercise, which I did in my journal, the power of writing. The power of writing.
Wow.
Where you say, write down 6 wondrously true, and I love that phrase, wondrously true things with evidence. And that's with evidence. And we have lots of evidence in our lives of how wonderful we are. We have evidence. And when you write it down, it's like, yeah, when that person said that, they weren't making up. It is true.
Right.
So that, to me, is step one of the goddess journey, the beginning to shift of, okay, I have a choice as to how I perceive myself. I'm going to start to really focus on the wondrously true. So that, to me, is step one. Step two deals with a quote that you have in there where you say, I'm perfect in my imperfections. So to me, that's the middle part of the goddess. You've accepted, yes, I am a goddess. And you know what? No, I may not be perfect in all areas that I would like to, but you know what? There is a perfection to my imperfection.
I love
okay?
that.
Yes. My unique combination is here for a reason, and it is a gift, and I'm going to embrace it. And if there's anything I decide to change, it's only the change to make me even more fabulous.
Right.
It's not motivated by fear. It's not motivated by, oh, I have to fix this. It's motivated by a totally different, oh, let me just get even more fabulous. That's a different come from. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Yes.
And that's really what I would want people to, women to actually own, is that you don't have to be perfect. As we were talking about earlier, we all come in different shape, form, height, etc., colors, etc. But that's what makes you unique. You don't want to be like anybody else.
Right.
You know?
Don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I want another person like me. I want to be like me. So in terms of working with women, what are some of the areas that you see women struggle a lot with?
Well, the body image weight thing is huge, as you know. So that's number one. I'd say cite that as number one. And number two, not feeling like they're enough, not doing enough. No matter how much women are doing, they never feel like they're doing enough. So there's that. And then feeling like they have the right, last but not least, feeling like they have the right to take time for themselves. Because we've been trained from a very early age to give and give and give and put others first and be nice and don't say no. And so the end result oftentimes is that we are worn out, burnt out to our nub.
Oh, that's so
you know?
true. That's so true.
So those are the top three.
But you think part of it is that we feel that we're not deserving? I think the core of all of that is that, it's just in my opinion, that the core of it is that we don't feel like we deserve.
Exactly.
You know, everybody else deserves, but we don't deserve. And if we take time to take care of us, then we're being selfish. There's some guilt that goes with that.
Totally.
I should be doing this with the kids. I should be doing that with, my significant other and so forth. And not realizing that, I used to say this analogy a lot of times, that when you're on a plane, the first thing that is when they're going through the safety measures, they say that when the oxygen mask falls, if, for example, the cabin temperature, the cabin air lowers and the mask falls, it doesn't say put it on the child or the elderly or something. They say put it on yourself, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. And one of the lessons that I have learned recently, the things that you look back in your life,
yes,
and then you say, what if I knew what I knew then, what I know, and I think is that we are role models for our kids in particular, and we are teaching them how to live their life. We're showing them based on our own behavior, how we take care of ourselves, what to do. So I think it's so important and critical that we do that, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, the young goddesses are looking at us.
Exactly.
They are. They
I like
really
that.
are. The young goddesses are looking at, and we have to let them know that there is space for their self-care.
Right.
That self-care is important. And when you are operating out of a full cup, you bring your best self to a situation.
Exactly.
So it's good.
Exactly.
It benefits everyone when you take care of yourself.
Right, because it's how you show up in the world, as we just started out taking.
Yeah.
So if you had to share anything with women, what would you say to them?
I would ask them to join the goddess movement. Join the goddess movement. Get your goddess. Get your goddess. There are so many ways to connect. Get your goddess, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we are having a free live event for women.
Wow, when is it?
Yes, that is going to be Sunday, April 24th at the Drum and Dance Learning Center.
Wow, where's that?
It's in Lawrenceville, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Not too far from here, and it's going to be a great time. I have a lot of goddess goodies for them.
Ooh,
Yes, I have a lot of goddess
I'm
goodies
gonna
for
put
them.
that in my calendar.
They don't want to miss it. Bring your aunties, your daughters, your sisters, everybody. It's going to be
Wow.
great. It's going to be great.
So your Facebook page is, what's your Facebook?
Get your goddess.
Get your goddess.
Yes,
Okay.
Instagram, Twitter, get your goddess.
Wow.
Yes, it's an interactive online community to help support all of us, all women, to remember that we are a goddess. We are, all women are goddesses. I can't say that enough. All women are goddesses.
Wow, this is like so much a pleasure speaking with you, and getting to the core of this, because it seems so simple, but it's such a powerful concept that it's usually simple things that we forget and
All the
just
time.
ignore all the time.
All the time.
So it's just being able to connect with the core of who we are and realizing that we're deserving, and when we start owning that we're deserving, then we start showing up totally different in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Get your goddess.
Well, thank you so much, Audrey.
Thank you, Faith. Pleasure and honor.
Well, to my guests, I just want to thank you all for being here today, and go get your goddess.
That's right.
Until next time, think positively.